After the Avengers are tasked with hunting down the remaining mutants in this universe, Captain America reluctantly teams up with the other heroes, including Iron Man, Black Widow, and the Hulk. But this universe's Iron Man is fused with his suit and has a little bit of an issue going on inside, which causes his armor to slowly eat him alive. The team is sent to destroy Fortress X, which is a solace for all of the mutants, and the team just starts taking the lives of all the mutants that they see, with Captain America blindly firing into a crowd of mutants. However, he would soon realize his mistake as he had shot and killed Mystique, who was protecting the last remaining mutant children. And this causes the team to reconsider their entire mission. Just as Tony's suit gets an emergency override and begins to prep his phaser at the mutant. And in this moment, Cap makes a game time decision and shoots Iron Man in the back of the head to save the mutants. And this story comes from the 2011 Age of X universe 1 and 2 if you want to read more. And if you like more comic breakdowns like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Mephisto enslaves Silver Surfer and forces him to hunt down people that are about to pass on and make a deal with him in order to get them to give their souls to Mephisto before they pass on. But after a while, the Silver Surfer has enough of this and refuses to do it. And in this moment, Mephisto pulls him back to hell, where they get into this heated argument and the Silver Surfer unleashes this crazy attack. But it's not enough to hurt Mephisto, it's enough to show him that he will no longer be imprisoned by him. And after this ordeal, Mephisto lets him go and he is free from Mephisto's control. And this is just the beginning of Marvel's new Annihilation 2099 series that's rolling out right now. If you want more comic breakdowns like this, make sure you like and subscribe. This is why Thanos doesn't stand a chance against Doctor Doom. After Doctor Doom steals the power of the Beyonder and starts to assemble Battleworld and acts like this all-powerful, mighty tyrant, Thanos steps up and he's like, I've had enough of your shit, Doctor Doom, saying, you are a weak god, a pretender. It's you who should bow before me. And then Doctor Doom simply asks him, do you have the Infinity Gauntlet on you now? In which Thanos replies, I do not, but I'm still the great tyrant Thanos, and that should be enough for you. And in this moment, Doctor Doom does the coldest thing of all time. He simply punches through the chest of Thanos, disintegrates him down to his skeleton, and says that appears untrue. And this comes from the 2015 Secret Wars series that's being adapted into the new Secret Wars movie coming out in 2026. And if you like videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Or don't. I can't force you to do anything. I'm just a guy on the screen. After living for hundreds of years, Deadpool's healing factor becomes more of a curse than a blessing, as death comes for his 90-plus-year-old daughter. Deadpool, knowing that he doesn't want to live in a world without his daughter, tries everything in his power to kill death, just to have his daughter arrive in the nick of time to save death and tell him that she's lived a full life and she's ready to pass on. Knowing that Deadpool doesn't want to live in a world without her, she devises a plan to detonate a neutrino bomb that will vaporize both of them in an instant. Deadpool, questioning this, wants to make sure that he is completely vaporized, because even if a single atom of him survives, then he will regenerate. His daughter assures him that it has the power of a black hole and there's no way that they could survive, as Deadpool hugs his daughter and dies peacefully in her arms. And this story comes from 2020's Deadpool The End by Joe Kelly. And if you like more comic breakdowns like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Or don't. There's nothing I can do about it.
During college, Victor tricks Iron Man into switching bodies with him with an experiment that he wanted him to help him with. During this process, both of their memories are wiped, and afterwards, the Tony Stark, who is now Victor, gets Iron Man expelled from college and sent back to Liberia. During this time, Victor is living the lavish life as Iron Man and living it up under the Stark name. Tony, as Victor, is now stuck in a third world country trying to build up his tech and get it noticed by the world. And he began to rise up the ranks, getting his doctorate and inventing tech that could then threaten Stark Industries. And then Victor shows up in a prototype Iron Man suit and attacks Tony. Tony, who has this makeshift Doom suit, tries to confront Iron Man, but the suit was never made for combat. But Tony hacks the Iron Man suit and ignites his rockets, which then defeats Victor. And in this moment, Victor asks for Tony's forgiveness and even offers to switch bodies back. But in this moment, Tony says no, as the world has come to know the Stark name with greed, and he doesn't want to be that because he is now Victor Von Doom, an honorable man. And this story comes from What If Iron Man Demon in Arbor #1 by David Michelini. And if you like comic book stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. After Wolverine and Namor get into a heated battle, Wolverine lunges at Namor, and just before he sticks his claws into Namor, Storm jumps in front of him, causing Wolverine to kill Storm, which in turn causes a catastrophic chain of events. Magneto then blows up the helicarrier that they were on, causing the deaths of Colleen, Wing, and Falcon. While this is happening, there's another set of Avengers in space trying to take on the Phoenix Force, and Thor goes toe-to-toe with the Phoenix Force and loses his life and Mjolnir in the process. Magneto and Hope Summers then show up in space, in which Hope Summers fuses with the Phoenix Force, and she can't control these powers and she begins to lash out at everyone in her way. After Magneto kills Black Panther, who tries to stop him, they go back to Earth, where she's met face to face with the Avengers, who have had enough of her shenanigans, with Nova making a game-time decision to get Iron Fist and Spider-Man out of the situation because it's out of their league. Magneto then crushes Nova's helmet, killing him instantly, which then causes Red Hulk to jump in, who Phoenix annihilates instantly with a flame tornado. Cyclops and Scarlet Witch try to get her to come to her senses and be like, "Stop, Hope." And she just screams, "I can't stop." In which she turns to Magneto, and Magneto says, "Come here, my child." And in this moment, Magneto steals the Phoenix Force from Hope Summers, with Iron Man, Captain America, Wolverine, and Ms. Marvel staring on in shock. Cap then throws his shield at Magneto, and Magneto catches it, energizes it, and throws it back at both Cap and Iron Man, ripping them both in half.
Xavier then gets in Magneto's mind,
and Hulk throws Wolverine across the canyon at Magneto, landing his fist directly in his face to bring this entire event to an end. And this story comes from the What If Avengers vs. X-Men 4-part series. And if you like more comic breakdowns like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Or don't. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you to do anything.
How powerful is Red Hulk? So you might have seen in the up-and-coming trailer for Captain America Brave New World that Red Hulk is coming. But let's break down why Red Hulk's actually kind of more powerful than regular Hulk. Red Hulk is a transformed version of General Thunderbolt Ross. This transformation is the result of him trying to end the original Hulk for years. But a few things that set Red Hulk and the regular Hulk apart is that he actually gets stronger with radiation. So fighting the Hulk, he actually gets stronger as the Hulk emits a tiny bit of gamma radiation at all times. But there's a drawback to the Red Hulk. He actually gets to the point that he heats up while he's getting stronger. So as he gets more powerful, the heat gets unbearable, and that's the only thing that can really stop the Red Hulk. But it's not that crazy of a setback because he's been known to take down the Silver Surfer, he's been known to take down Thor, and much more powerful characters. So it's a drawback, but it's not much of a drawback. But let me know in the comments down below if you're excited for Red Hulk to enter the MCU.
Who is Anti-Venom? Anti-Venom was created when Eddie Brock had cancer, and he got a visit from Mr. Negative, who transferred some of his power into Eddie, who still had a little bit of venom inside of him. This caused that symbiote to gain Mr. Negative's abilities and created Anti-Venom. But this also created a very unique situation, where the regular weaknesses that Venom had no longer exist, where he's immune to fire, he's immune to sound, he has healing abilities, and can strip other people of symbiotes as well. Plus, Anti-Venom wasn't created by Knull, so it doesn't have a mind of its own, and Eddie has complete and utter control over Anti-Venom. And this is why Anti-Venom is one of the most powerful and hardest symbiotes to take down. And if you like more comic stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe.
Well, Venom's gonna get you in your sleep.
Did you know Deadpool once fused with 4 different symbiotes in order to take down Carnage? After Carnage goes on a crazy killing spree and starts taking out as many people as possible, Deadpool goes after him. After a fierce battle in multiple different locations, Deadpool gets disembodied by Carnage. And in this moment, the symbiotes that don't have hosts right now pull together in order to create Hybrid, which is an amalgamation of Deadpool, Phage, Lasher, Riot, and Agony, all coming with their individual abilities in one single Hybrid Deadpool. But even after this intense battle, it's really not enough to stop Carnage. So Deadpool gets creative and pretends to be Cassidy's girlfriend, and tricks Carnage into thinking that he killed his girlfriend, which leads him to a mental breakdown ending the story in a perfect little bow with Cletus Cassidy back behind bars. And this story comes from Deadpool vs. Carnage, issues 1 through 4. And if you like more comic book stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Or don't. If you don't, I can't save you from Carnage. What if Wolverine bonded with Venom? Logan learns from the Triads that Sabretooth has received the Venom symbiote. After waiting for him in a bar, Sabretooth shows up, they get into this massive bar fight, and Logan flashes at the back of Sabretooth. In doing this, he opens the bag on the back of Sabretooth, which just happens to contain the Venom symbiote. As Venom is taking over Wolverine, Sabretooth admits that it was him that is hunting down Logan for this exact same reason, and the client that did hire him just wanted to cause chaos. As Venom takes complete control, he starts taking out all the cops and causing chaos. Because Wolverine is trapped inside this mind prison, Venom has complete control, and he just starts causing as much chaos as possible. While Wolverine is trapped in this mind prison, he remembers what Professor X told him, and that gives him the power to rip through the chest of Venom and release himself successfully from the symbiote. And this story has two interesting endings where Moon Knight shows up and a little post-credit scene where you see Doctor Strange showing up to where the backpack was found and Venom was originally released. And this comes from the 2024 What If Venom series, and this is currently rolling out and is one of my favorites in a long time. And you can tell it's building to something much bigger, so you might want to catch up now. If you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe.
What happens when you combine Wolverine and Ghost Rider? Well, you get the Helverin. And the Helverin is one of the most badass characters that Marvel's ever done. And Helverin is now back in 2024. But this time, Logan isn't Helverin. And he gets kidnapped because everyone thinks that he is Helverin from the time that he was. This causing confusion as the Helverin is still on a rampage, killing all of these politicians and people that have done some unjust things and presenting them in a shrine for Mephisto. As Logan's being interrogated, he's asked, well then who is it then? And Logan doesn't know. So he sets off on a mission to try to figure out who this new Helverin is. And while this is going on, there's this new rise of this new power group called the Hellfire Warriors that are going after people left and right. Logan finds one of the Hellfire Warriors and chops the head off of them, just to learn that this isn't enough to stop them. As Logan retreats, he sees off in the distance the Helverin and recognizes him by his tattoos that it is his son, Daken. And this story comes from the 2024 Wolverine standalone series, which is only 3 issues in. So if you like what's going on here, make sure you pick up a copy and catch up before it gets real crazy. And if you like Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. This is one of the funniest Deadpool fourth wall breaks in history. During an adventure, Spider-Man and Deadpool are on their way through this tunnel system, and Deadpool just starts doing his thing. His fourth wall breaking, talk to us, talking to the characters, talking to everybody involved, right? And after a while, Spider-Man's just like, who are you talking to? Like, stop talking to yourself kind of thing. And in this moment, Deadpool says, well, I don't even know who I'm talking to, and tries to get Spider-Man to reveal his identity, causing Spider-Man to take off his mask. And when he takes off his mask, Deadpool is shocked to see that his face is blank. Following this, Deadpool starts cussing out the writers and saying that they're preventing this moment from happening, as he even tries to get Spider-Man to reveal his name, and his name gets blanked out to Deadpool. And this moment comes from Spider-Man and Deadpool, issue number 42. If you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe.
3 of the most useless mutant powers. Number 1, Jazz, whose only power, and I kid you not, is that his skin is blue. That is it. Number 2 is Longneck. You guessed it, his only power is that he has a long neck. And last but not least is Glob Herman, who has the power to turn his skin translucent, but not his organs. So therefore, if you were to just aim at his vital points, you kind of have a pretty easy shot. Oh, and bonus, he also has skin that's made of wax, so you can just light him on fire. And let's just say not all X-Men got it as good as Wolverine. If you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe.
While Thor's giving his speech, he looks up and he sees Galactus falling from the sky. As he gets ready for battle, a weakened Galactus asked him for help, saying that the Black Winter is coming. Thor questions Galactus about this Black Winter, and he states that everyone perceives the Black Winter differently, but you will always see your own death. In this moment, it looks like Galactus attacks Thor, but in reality, he made him his new Herald of Thunder. Although after the two confront this cosmic entity, this alliance is very short-lived, as Thor betrays Galactus and uses his body as a bomb to destroy the Black Winter. And this story comes from 2020's new Thor #1 by Donny Cates And if you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. As he's wounded, battered, and bruised, he begins to hide from the Predator, but the Predator can see him with his heat vision. As this chase goes on, we learn that this isn't Logan's first encounter with the Predator, and their feud actually goes back many years. And this is a Predator that he originally ran into back with his bone claws, in which the Predator ended up breaking and leaving Logan for dead. Just as the Predator gets grabbed by a bear, Logan thinks this is the end, the bear can take the Predator. The Predator comes out with the severed head of the bear, showing that this war is just beginning. But over the next few years, the Predator tracks down Logan to a Weapons X facility, where he learns that he now has an adamantium skeleton, which the Predator perceives as the ultimate prize. As the Predator begins to reveal the adamantium skeleton, Wolverine wakes up and stabs the Predator, just for the Predator to shoot acid into his mouth, melting his entire face. As the Predator tries to take his entire trophy back to his ship and leave, he gets shot by the military. This wakes Logan up, in which he rips a hole in the side of the ship and falls down like a meteor to the earth. And this leads us back to present day, where the Predator is still chasing Wolverine. As they get into their final confrontation, Logan realizes that the Predator has a bomb on the side of him, and not understanding the letters, but recognizing that as a countdown, he waits for it to explode, as the Predator thinks that it'll take out both of them, and he'll get his trophy, even if it's in the afterlife. And this story comes from Predator vs. Wolverine. And if you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe.
Kaine Parker is the Jackal's first attempt at cloning Peter Parker. Although it thought that this cloning process was a success, come to find out there was a flaw and he had this degenerative cell disease. Over time, this degenerative disease was cured. Kaine is known as a anti-hero slash ally slash partner to both Ben Reilly and Peter Parker. He has a lot of the same attributes that both Peter Parker and Ben Reilly do, including super strength, super speed, super stamina, super durability, but also has a regenerative healing factor and what's referred to as the mark of Kaine, meaning every time that he defeats someone, it leaves a mark on their face burning into their skin. And that one might be a bit biblical. He also has the sting of Kaine, which are bone-like structures that come out of his wrist like Wolverine's claws, as well as night vision. He also has a monstrous transformation. Some of these powers have been retconned over the years, but these are the ones that he's known to have throughout his comic book career. And he also becomes the Scarlet Spider. Although originally designed as a clone of Peter Parker, he has now become one of the most beloved members of the Spider-Verse. Let me know who your favorite variant of Spider-Man is in the comments down below. And as always, make sure that you like and subscribe. After falling into a deep depression, Spider-Man goes to seek counsel from his multiverse counterparts. This council is made up of some of the most badass Spider-Man throughout the multiverse. As he begins to express his problems, the Spider-Men say, "Oh man, you're so lucky. You've won a Nobel Peace Prize. You got this, all that." Following with, "Maybe you should just give up on being Spider-Man. Maybe that will make you happy." As Spider-Man is confused, he starts to look around and is like, "You guys are totally screwing with me, aren't you?" As the rest of them all burst out laughing and confirm that all of their lives are just as terrible as his and they all have depression, making it an oddly sweet moment for Peter Parker. And this moment comes from Amazing Fantasy issue 1000. And if you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. After being transported to the wrong universe, Spider-Man 2099 comes across Maestro, who, if you don't know, is a future version of Hulk. Flash forward, Maestro tries to make a deal with Spider-Man 2099 to bring him back to his universe, as he says that he's a time traveler. Knowing that Spider-Man is lying, Maestro then attacks him, capturing him and locking him up in a jail cell. Come to find out, inside this jail cell is a female version of Doctor Strange. They go on to try to escape this facility, running into all of the Avengers gear that Maestro has claimed over the years. Maestro then confronts them again in this room, and Spider-Man uses an artifact in the room to kill Maestro, which then sends him back to his own timeline. We come to find out that this was all a trick from Maestro and part of his plan in order to get back to his own timeline. And this story comes from 2015's Spider-Man 2099 series. And if you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. This might be the worst / saddest mutant power of all time. ForgetMeNot lives in a constant state of superposition. Much like a quantum computer, if you're not directly interacting with him or in his sightline, he doesn't exist, and your memories of him also disappear as well. But ForgetMeNot has been an X-Men for a lot longer than people think he has, and he's been in the background of some of the craziest events that the X-Men have gone through. And it's to the point that Charles Xavier actually has to set a reminder in his brain every hour to remind him that ForgetMeNot exists, and he is part of the X-Men, and he is on these missions with him. And ForgetMeNot was introduced in X-Men Legacy issue 300 in 2014. And if you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Or don't, and I'll be just like ForgetMeNot to you. Who is the strongest Hulk, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you did. In an alternative future, Toba Hulk, who is the embodiment of the one below all in the body of Bruce Banner and the Hulk. And this dark alter ego is the embodiment of true, pure hatred. And his goal is to just destroy the multiverse, and that's it. No other goals for this guy. And this version of Hulk destroys the entire multiverse with ease. Nothing stands in his way, although many tried. And if you want to learn more about this version of Hulk, make sure you check out Immortal Hulk from 2018. If you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. After Death goes missing and everyone seems to be coming back to life and turning into zombies, Deadpool can no longer kill people for money, so he ends up teaming up with the one person who is obsessed with death, and that is our boy Thanos. And they go on a magical ride to try to figure out what happened to Death, to find out that Death was kidnapped by Eternity. And once they free Death from Eternity, Death gives both Deadpool and Thanos a fraction of her power to take down Eternity. Thanos goes directly at Eternity trying to kill him, but if he does this, this ends the entire universe. So Deadpool tries to stop Thanos, which gets him tossed inside Eternity where he meets Omnipower, who then uses Deadpool as his avatar and fuses with him, creating Omnipool, who, for a very, very short-lived time, is the most powerful character in all of Marvel, who defeats Thanos and restores balance to the universe. And this story comes from Deadpool vs. Thanos, issues 1 through 4. If you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanos is an absolute menace to this guy named David. On his first birthday, he stole his blanket. On his 5th birthday, he crushed the family car with his dad inside. On his 16th birthday, he made his girlfriend break up with him. On his 24th birthday, he poisoned his friends. On his 25th birthday, he burned down his grad school. On his 27th birthday, he got him fired. In his 30th birthday, he actually missed because the Avengers stopped him, which made David think that he was free, just for Thanos to show up next year and apologize for missing his birthday, and then send his house into a black hole. By his 45th birthday, he's basically given up on everything, but he thinks that he figures out why Thanos is doing this. And just before he goes to tell Thanos, Thanos floods his apartment and says he doesn't care and just walks out. And this story comes from 2018's Thanos Annual. And if you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. After killing Peter Parker, Deadpool waits for Peter's soul to arrive in hell. After searching everywhere for his soul, he realizes Peter's nowhere to be found. After this, he makes a deal to bring Peter back to life so he can unplug it and plug it back in. After killing Peter a second time, he realizes that's not how hell works, and they don't make mistakes like that. This makes Wade realize that Peter's not evil, in which he has to go to Limbo to find out where he is. After Wade gets to Limbo, he finds Peter fighting Mysterio's illusions. After helping him defeat Mysterio, he makes a deal with Lady Death and Mephisto to bring Peter back to life for the final time, in which he apologizes and vows to find and kill the person that framed him for all of these horrific science experiments that he thought that he did, which caused him to kill him in the first place. This leads them to team up to take down Patient Zero, who was behind this entire thing. But that's only just the beginning of the story. Penn beats Deadpool in a poker game, and his prize, Deadpool and Teller have to swap places for a day. And in this time, Penn does the most gruesome tricks he can with Deadpool, knowing that he's going to be okay, as Teller, as Deadpool, gets into this massive battle with these magicians with Spider-Man, in which Teller outsmarts the magicians and Spider-Man captures them. So this leads to the following week, everyone showing up for the gruesome show that they saw with Deadpool, just for Penn and Teller to not be able to perform those tricks ever again. 4 of the craziest versions of Wolverine. Number 4 is Cancer Claw Wolverine that comes from the Cancerverse. This version of Wolverine, if he even comes in contact with you slightly, you get cancer, and I'm sure you're not even able to survive the encounter. Number 3 is Cyclops Wolverine. That is just as terrifying as it sounds. In one hand, he has his iconic claws, but in the other, he's able to fire Cyclops' lasers from his fists. Number 2 is Diamond Claw Wolverine, which is a more powerful version of Wolverine that has all of the same attributes but can read people's mind as he stabs them. And of course, his claws are made out of diamonds. And number 1 is Knife Claw Wolverine, which is one of the most badass versions of him that comes from the noir universe. Instead of having claws at all, he has steak knives that he carries between his fingers to take out his enemies. Let me know in the comments down below your favorite version of Wolverine.
Superior Iron Man has to be the worst version of Iron Man. During the Axios event, all the morals of each character were flip-flopped. So, Tony Stark became the worst version of himself, in which he controlled propaganda, he manipulated the media, he purposely released the extremist virus, and then sold them the cure for profit. After they were all weak and addicted to his drugs, he then released security drones to watch over the population. But this reign of tyranny was brought to an end by Captain America during an incursion event, in which Tony said directly to Cap that he regrets absolutely nothing about anything that he did.
In the distant future, when Bruce Banner has explored the entire continent and realizes that it's just him and Hulk that are the last remaining humans on Earth, well, if you can call Hulk human. And the only other surviving organisms are these metal cockroaches that rip Hulk to shreds every day as he cannot fight them all off. But luckily, it only takes Hulk about 18 minutes to recover. After coming to this realization, Bruce Banner is battling depression that he is the last person alive, and he misses his friends, he misses his family, he misses just companionship at all. And in his old age, Bruce is now aware that his death is near. So he tries to end himself by throwing himself off a ledge, and Hulk won't let him do it. So in turn, he locks himself in a cave and just waits for it all to end. As he pleads with the Hulk to just let him die in peace, the Hulk refuses as he still has a lot to prove on being the strongest there is. And as Banner passes, the Hulk takes over, and the Hulk somberly sits outside of his cave, realizing that if he ever turns back into Banner, that he will die as well. And this story comes from Hulk the End. And if you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. After witnessing New York get overrun by demons, Peter takes a stroll outside just to find a little demon being picked on by a bigger shark demon. In this moment, Peter saves the little demon from the shark demon, and this little demon becomes obsessed with Spider-Man. While this is going on, Chasm is creating what is called the Insidious Six, which is just a stranger version than the Sinister Six. After showing up back home in a Spider-Man costume, saying that he wants to be just like Peter Parker, the Insidious Six chase him out and tell him that he is a fool and that he is a villain, not a hero. After walking through the streets, he runs into another demon that wants to make his dreams come true. So it fuses his Spider-Man shirt with a symbiote, which creates a Spider-Man symbiote that allows him to live out his dreams and fight along Spider-Man to defeat the Insidious Six. As the years went on, this future Thanos kept getting stronger while everyone else got weaker, which in turn caused him to kill every single hero and villain until he was the only one remaining. But there was one hero that he kept alive, which was the Hulk, who he treats now as a pet, in which he feeds the remains of the other heroes and villains too. After Ghost Rider brings a younger version of Thanos to show him what his future looks like, the Silver Surfer arrives to put an end to this tyranny. As Silver Surfer arrives, Thanos releases the Hulk on him and they clash for a battle of a lifetime. You would think. The Silver Surfer grabs him by his neck, calms him down, and turns him back into Bruce Banner, just for young Thanos to distract both Silver Surfer and Bruce Banner, and future Thanos to come up from behind and stab through both of them with Surtur's sword, which in turn kills Bruce Banner and injures Silver Surfer, and then both future and young Thanos tag team till the Surfer is no longer breathing. Just when you think there's no one else to arrive, the Lady in Black shows up herself, ready for a wedding. Deadpool once got hired for $7 to kill a kid's nightmares. After Peter reaches out to Deadpool via letter saying that he's having trouble sleeping, Deadpool then shows up to Peter's house and asks him for the details on this. After making a deal, Deadpool then agrees to kill his nightmares, which leads him to break into the Sanctum Sanctorum and steal the Eye of Agamotto. After breaking into the Sanctum, Wade then gets his hands on the Eye of Agamotto just for Wong to show up and try to stop him. Wade then realizes while wearing the Eye of Agamotto, all he has to do is knock himself out to get to the Dream Realm, in which he just jumps out the window to do this, knowing that he's not going to die. After arriving into the Dream Realm, he runs into Nightmare, who refuses to help him find Peter's dreams. After attacking him and Wade defeating all of the things that he throws at him and just being relatively annoying to Nightmare, he then agrees to help. After showing him Peter's nightmares, he notices that the gnome in his nightmares has the face of his babysitter. Deadpool then rips off the Eye of Agamotto and runs to Peter's house, in which he beats up the babysitter and gets him arrested. Deadpool looks Peter in the face and says, "Son, you still owe me $7. Gwenpool is extremely overpowered, and I mean she might even be more powerful than Deadpool. Being a real girl who was transported into the comic book space, she is fully aware of the fact that she is in a comic book, and she takes full advantage of it. From erasing dialogue, from jumping from panel to panel, and even at times exiting the comic entirely. As well as changing the villains when she doesn't like what the villain is doing or wants a more romantic storyline instead of this power chase or this big battle. Or will just add things to the story to spice it up. Like one time she just summoned an entire army of boy pools, and even goes back and forth with Deadpool himself often, in which she most of the time comes out on top. But she's also aware that all of these changes can be short-lived and the editors have the final say. And if you like more Marvel breakdowns like this, make sure you like and subscribe. What if Donald Duck became Thor? After bringing Huey, Dewey, and Louie on an archaeological hike in Scandinavia to earn their junior woodchuck badges, Donald Duck injures his foot. As he wanders off the beaten path, he sees the stone ducks from Saturn arriving. As they're firing around and destroying all the rocks, they see Donald Duck and chase him off into a cave, in which he finds a walking stick, in which he picks up this walking stick and hits it against a rock. Just then, this walking stick turns into Mjolnir, giving Donald Duck the power of Thor. After using Mjolnir to defeat the stone ducks from Saturn, him and the boys get back in the car as he tells this story to Huey, Dewey, and Louie, who don't believe this story in the slightest. After Thor becomes unworthy, he is unable to lift Mjolnir. After trying for what seems like eternity, he decides to give up and leave Mjolnir behind, as Mjolnir follows him around almost taunting him, and after a while, Thor punches Mjolnir, just as the Thunderer arrives to pitch him the idea of becoming the new Iron Fist, in which he explains the vessel of the Iron Fist is not currently held. So Thor begins training under the guise of the Thunderer, punching Mjolnir over and over again until his hands are bloody. But after a few days, Thor's fists are like hammers, and he faces off with Mjolnir, in which Mjolnir tries to run away, but Thor will not have it, and they clash in an epic battle of the gods, in which Thor defeats Mjolnir, in which the Thunderer explains it's not enough to beat Mjolnir to become the new Iron Fist, he must defeat me, and the Thunderer strikes him. After Thor hits the Thunderer with the hardest punch he's ever felt, he agrees to lead him to the Iron Fist. As they arrive in the temple, the Thunderer admits that he never planned on training him to be the new Iron Fist or to train him with any other weapons besides the ones that he had from day one, and names him the new God of Fists. After finding the Ancient One guarding the Destroyer armor, Maestro decides that he wants this armor for himself. The Ancient One warns Maestro about the ties to the Wishing Wells in Battleworld, which will notify God Emperor Doom if anyone comes near it. Ignoring all that advice, Maestro seizes this opportunity to put on the Destroyer armor, just as God Emperor Doom arrives, in which they immediately get into a massive battle for who will be the King of Battleworld. After what seems like an eternity of battling, Maestro in the Destroyer suit comes out victorious and claims to be the new god of Battleworld. However, it is then revealed that the Destroyer suit was enchanted to grant the wishes of whoever comes near it, all inside their mind. So everything we just witnessed was taking place inside of Maestro's mind. As he turns back into Bruce Banner, it is then revealed that this only wears off once the enchanted person has died, leaving Bruce Banner to live out his fantasies inside of his mind until he passes away. After Knull attacks Earth with symbiote-covered sentinels, all of our heroes get covered by symbiotes one by one, as Knull's on the hunt for a boy named Dylan, who he finally sees through the eyes of Captain America. But just in the nick of time, Thor saves Dylan from being consumed by Knull. Knull and Dylan fight back one by one to free most of their friends. But Knull, seeing this as his one and only opportunity to capture Dylan, shows up himself to take down the God of Thunder. Thor and Knull go back and forth, swinging and beating each other. After breaking the jaw of Knull, Thor thinks that he has this battle won. As he turns away, he sees Dylan get consumed by symbiotes in the distance, just to realize Knull isn't dead, and he stabs Thor through the heart, leaving him for dead. This story comes from 2020's King in Black, issue 3. Let me know in the comments which characters you'd like to see more of on this channel, and if you like more Marvel stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. After returning home, Logan finds his entire family slaughtered by Bruce Banner. After going on a rampage and killing Bruce Banner's inbred family, he finally confronts Bruce Banner, and they get into a massive brawl where Logan is just going at Bruce Banner, and he doesn't even transform until he stabs him through the stomach. And exactly in this moment, Bruce turns into the Hulk, and the Hulk eats Wolverine alive. Later on, Hulk begins to experience the stomach issues and stomach pains that are unbearing, not knowing that Logan has regenerated and is tearing his way out of the Hulk as he kills him slowly and painfully to end the Hulk forever. And if you like more Marvel and DC stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. There's one character in Marvel Comics that has the highest win percentage against the Hulk, and that character is Spider-Woman. Because of her ability to emit pheromones that cause men to be attracted to her, this is also the same thing that calms down the Hulk. She even stopped him mid-fight one time and had him make her a sandwich. Although this works in her favor for most men in the Marvel Comics, it has the exact opposite reaction for females in the universe, causing her to be enemy number 1 for all of the females in the Marvel Universe. Who is Jeff the Land Shark? After playing Marvel Rivals, you're probably curious who this cuddly creature is. Jeff is a species of land sharks that was created by MODOK, who was going by Brodok at the time. After the West Coast Avengers defeated all of the land sharks, Gwenpool found a baby land shark and named him Jeff and promised to take care of him. From that day forward, they were inseparable and going on all kinds of adventures. And Jeff has teamed up with Deadpool, the Enchantress, Elsa Bloodstone, Spider-Man, and many, many more. But you'll find him mostly in the Gwenpool comics. He did also once get venomized as well in an adorable story where he tries to escape Venom, but that's a story for another time. After being captured by Coyote, Spot's powers were artificially controlled in order to carry out some absolutely horrific crimes, including capturing and decapitating people, turning Daredevil into just a head, and putting wormholes on pregnant women's bellies in order to use them as drug mules. And you can see here this woman being truly uncomfortable as a man reaches through her stomach to grab drugs. Eventually, Spot is freed by Daredevil and they team up to take down Coyote, finally bringing this reign of horror to an end. When Miles Morales is accused of killing Captain America before it even happens, the tension in this moment is at its max, as Captain Marvel becomes obsessed with preventing future crime, and she's ready to go out guns blazing to make this happen. Miles then has a nervous breakdown and even almost considers removing his mask in order to help prevent this from happening. Just then, Captain America comes over and consults Miles, telling him whatever he wants to do, he should do. And Miles just says, "I want to go home," and Cap just lets him. But this infuriates Captain Marvel, who wants to arrest him for a future crime that he hasn't even committed yet. And this is when Black Panther steps in and says, "If you want to chase after Miles, you're going to have to go through me." Ultimately saying, if you go after him, you're waging war on Wakanda, and that will not end well for you.